Your wicking bed isn't broken. Your plant list is. If you built a wicking bed and something rotted, yellowed, or just quietly gave up, it's tempting to blame the bed, the reservoir, the wicking action, the soil mix. But most wicking bed failures come down to one thing. You planted something that hates wet feet in a system designed to keep feet wet. So today, we're sorting it out completely. The crops that absolutely love a constant moisture root zone. The crops that will slowly die in one. And the middle group that works, but only if you make a few adjustments. Stick around for the planting layout near the end. One standard raised bed, mapped out, so you never guess again. Let's dig in. First, a quick reminder of what a wicking bed actually does. Water sits in a reservoir at the bottom of the bed. It moves upward through the soil by capillary action. The root zone stays evenly moist from below almost all the time. That is the whole personality of this bed. Constant, gentle, bottom-up moisture. No dry spells, no drought signals reaching the roots. So the winners are obvious once you think about it. Any plant that suffers when moisture swings up and down is going to love this, and any plant that needs its roots to dry out is going to struggle. Let's start with the crops that thrive. Number 1, tomatoes. Tomatoes are almost the poster crop for wicking beds, and it comes down to one common heartbreak: blossom end rot. That dark, leathery patch on the bottom of a ripe tomato. Most gardeners think it's a calcium shortage in the soil. But according to University of Maryland Extension, the factors that encourage blossom end rot include inconsistent watering, shallow watering, and droughty conditions. The soil often has plenty of calcium. The plant just can't move it into the fruit when moisture keeps swinging from bone dry to soaking wet. Water carries calcium through the plant, and without steady moisture, that calcium never reaches the developing fruit. A wicking bed fixes the exact condition that causes it. Steady moisture, delivered from below, all day. That's why tomatoes in a well-built wicking bed so often come out clean and heavy. University of Maryland Extension. Number 2, peppers. Same story, same science. Blossom end rot hits peppers for the same reasons it hits tomatoes, and the control is the same too. Bell peppers and chilies love warmth, and they love consistency. Give them a root zone that never dries out, and you remove one of the biggest reasons pepper fruit goes bad before it ripens. Peppers are thirsty, steady feeders. A wicking bed matches them beautifully. Number 3, zucchini. Zucchini is a water hog. Big broad leaves, fast growth, high water demand. When a zucchini plant dries out, you get poor pollination, deformed fruit, and that frustrating problem where a baby zucchini shrivels and rots at the tip before it grows. Constant moisture keeps the plant cruising. This is a crop that genuinely rewards the wicking setup. Number 4, cucumbers. Cucumbers are where flavor really enters the conversation. Ask any gardener about a bitter cucumber and you will hear the same answer. Water stress. When cucumbers dry out and get stressed, they lean bitter. Consistent moisture keeps a trellised cucumber mild, crisp, and sweet. A wicking bed holds that even moisture line without you thinking about it. And like zucchini, cucumbers drink a lot. The reservoir does the heavy lifting. Number 5, leafy greens. Lettuce, spinach, and rainbow chard. Here's what makes greens special. Lettuce has shallow roots, mostly in the top 6 inches of soil, which makes it very sensitive to moisture swings. When the soil dries out and then gets flooded, the plant stresses, and stressed greens turn bitter and bolt. The fix isn't more water, it's consistent water. And consistent is exactly what a wicking bed delivers to those shallow roots. Sweeter greens, slower bolting, longer harvest windows. I love this one because a bed of crisp lettuce is the fastest way to see the difference a wicking bed makes. Number 6, celery. The crop practically designed for this bed. Celery is famously fussy. shallow roots, and a stalk that's over 90% water. According to Utah State University Extension, any water stress during the season makes celery stalks stringy and gives them a strong flavor, and celery is more crisp and tender when it's watered regularly, especially before harvest. Constant moisture is not a nice-to-have for celery. It's the whole game. If you've ever snapped into a tough, bitter celery stalk, a wicking bed may be the single biggest upgrade you can make. USU Extension. So that's your winners: tomatoes, peppers, zucchini, cucumbers, leafy greens, and celery. Notice the pattern. Every one of them either fights a disorder caused by dry spells or turns bitter under stress. The wicking bed removes the stress. Simple. Quick pause. If matching plants to the right bed is the kind of thing you actually want to get right, subscribe to Roots and Knowledge. This wicking bed series builds week to week, and the next video is a big one. Now, let's get into the crops that will break your heart in a wicking bed. Number 1 on the avoid list: Mediterranean herbs. Rosemary, thyme, lavender, sage, and oregano. These plants come from hot, rocky, fast-draining Mediterranean hillsides. They evolved to survive on very little water. Their whole survival strategy is dry roots between drinks. Put a woody rosemary in a bed that stays wet from below, and you're fighting millions of years of adaptation. The research is blunt about this. For rosemary and lavender, root rot and crown rot are by far the most common cause of failure, and both plants will die if their roots sit in waterlogged soil for extended periods. For these herbs, overwatering is far more dangerous than underwatering. A wicking bed is basically the opposite of what they want. If you love your lavender, keep it in a gritty pot or a dry gravel border. Not here. Blooming, expert. Number 2, garlic and onions, especially near harvest. This one is sneaky because they grow fine for most of their life. The problem comes at the end. Garlic and onions need to dry down before harvest to store well. That papery skin, the tight neck, the long shelf life all depend on the bulb losing moisture as the plant matures. According to UMass Amherst Extension, garlic curing takes about 10 to 14 days and isn't complete until the outer skins are dry and crispy and the neck is constricted. That process starts with a bulb that was allowed to firm up in drying soil, not one sitting in a wet reservoir. A wicking bed keeps feeding moisture right up to the end, exactly when you want the soil drying out. Onion and garlic bulbs that stay wet near harvest are far more likely to rot in storage. You can grow them here early on, but you'll want to cut the water at the reservoir well before harvest. Which brings us to a theme. Anything that needs a dry finish is fighting this bed. UMass Extension. Number 3. Root crops in shallow beds. This one has an asterisk, so listen closely. Carrots, parsnips, and long beets need depth. In a shallow wicking bed, the root reaches down and hits the constantly wet zone near the reservoir too soon. That can mean forked carrots, splitting, and rot at the tip. It's less about the crop hating moisture and more about the geometry of a shallow bed. Deep wicking beds can grow decent roots. Shallow ones fight you. We'll come back to this in the layout. Number 4. Anything that needs a drought signal to flavor up. This is the quiet one most people miss. Some crops build their best flavor under mild water stress. Many woody herbs and even wine grapes concentrate their aromatic oils and sugars when they're a little thirsty. Give them endless water and you often get lush, floppy growth with weaker flavor. If a plant's whole selling point is intensity that comes from a hard life, a wicking bed makes life too easy. Great for a head of lettuce. Wrong for a plant that flavors up on drought. See the pattern again? Every struggler either rots with wet roots or loses quality without a dry down. Opposite crops, opposite bed. Now the honest middle ground. These crops can absolutely work in a wicking bed, but only with a tweak or two. Basil. It likes moisture and warmth, so it does well up top, but it hates cold, soggy roots. Plant a basil clump high in the driest part of the bed, and it's happy. Beans and peas. They grow fine, but constant moisture can encourage fungal issues if airflow is poor. Space them out. Keep the leaves dry. Water from below, not over the top. Brassicas. Cabbage, broccoli, and kale. These are thirsty and generally love the steady moisture, but they can get too lush and soft. Ease off the heavy nitrogen, and they firm up nicely. Strawberries. They enjoy consistent moisture, but the crowns rot if they sit wet. Mound the strawberry plants up so the crown stays above the moist zone. Fruit spilling over the edge, crown high and dry. The theme across all four is position. Where you place the plant matters as much as the plant itself, which is the perfect setup for the layout. Let's map one standard bed. Call it 4 feet wide and 8 feet long. Down the center spine, plant your heavy drinkers: tomatoes, peppers, and celery. This is the wettest, most consistent zone, and these are the crops that want exactly that. Along one long edge, run your leafy greens: lettuce, spinach, and chard. Shallow roots, steady moisture right where they sit, and easy picking from the side. Give zucchini and cucumbers a corner each with room to sprawl or a trellis to climb. They're big and thirsty, and they'll crowd everything if you let them. Now the adjustments. Build 2 small mounds at the ends of the bed, a few inches higher than the rest of the soil. That's your home for basil and strawberries. Crowns and stems stay up out of the wettest zone, while the roots still reach the moisture below. And the rosemary, the thyme, the lavender, they go in a separate gravel pot beside the bed. Not in it. Give them the gritty, dry life they were built for. That's a full standard bed, every crop in the spot that suits it. No guessing, no mystery deaths. So now you know the split: tomatoes, peppers, zucchini, cucumbers, greens, and celery. Thrive, because a wicking bed erases the moisture swings that cause rot, bitterness, and hollow fruit. Mediterranean herbs, curing garlic and onions, deep root crops in shallow beds, and dry finish flavor plants. Struggle, because they need a dry root zone the bed refuses to give them. Now, I want to hear from you. What died mysteriously in your wicking bed? Drop the crop in the comments. There's a good chance the answer is on today's avoid list, and the rest of us can learn from it. And once you know what to plant, the next question is whether a wicking bed actually outproduces a normal raised bed. We put them head to head in the next video: wicking bed versus standard raised bed, the real yield difference. The numbers surprised a lot of people. It's on screen now, go watch it.